a number of sticking points, including Medicaid expansion, Medicare vouchers, and climate change. And Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said today that they're within arm's length of an agreement. But late this afternoon, they seem to have lost a major part of the bill, paid family leave. While the bill isn't fully written, so nothing is technically out, a source tells NBC that Manchin was firmly opposed to the provision. Here he is earlier today.
Paid leave, are you still talking to Senator Gillibrand?
I'm talking to everybody, but I've been very clear. To expand social programs when you have trust funds that aren't solvent, they're going insolvent, I can't explain that. It doesn't make sense to me. I want to work with everyone as long as we can start paying for things.
On top of all of this, there are still a few issues with how to pay for the bill. The other holdout senator, 80s armless jeans jacket enthusiast Kyrsten Sinema, surprised everyone by coming out in support of the corporate minimum tax yesterday, which Democrats likely plan to use alongside the billionaire tax to pay for the bill. But now Manchin seems skeptical of that tax because it targets billionaires.
I'm supporting basically that everyone should pay their fair share, and I've just tried to think of it. I don't like it. I don't like the connotation that we're targeting different people. There's people that basically they've contributed to society, they create a lot of jobs and invest a lot of money and give a lot to philanthropic pursuits.
You know, when he says insolvent, when he says it like that, he sure sounds like Republicans when they want to cut social programs or privatize Social Security, which is weird, right? Because supposedly he's a Democrat. And let's just be clear and fact-check Joe Manchin. Social Security is funded by current payroll taxes. And last I checked, the economy is still functioning. So no, it's not insolvent. Meanwhile, on the other side of the aisle, Republicans aren't even satisfied with watching Manchin and Sinema whittle Build Back Better down to shavings. They're going after what's left in the bill. Here's Republican Congressman Glenn Grothman on universal pre-K and child care.
I don't like the idea of the government taking care of 3 or 4-year-olds. Right now, there are still many stay-at-home parents. And not only that, even when parents don't stay home, a lot of times kids stay with their grandparents or other relatives. One of the reasons the government wants to take care of these kids is to instill the government values in those children.
What is it, 1948? Joining me now is Congressman Ro Khanna of California, Deputy Whip for the House Progressive Caucus. I have to be honest with you, Congressman. This is why so many Americans don't believe government works.
Joy,
Democrats...
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No,
I don't know where you find these clips.
In 1950, apparently. I think we found them in 1950 and played them in 2021. Why don't you just have them all? Why don't the women just stay home and stop working outside the home? That'd solve it. Here's my challenge for the Democrats. They overpromised and are now going to seriously underdeliver. There's back and forth. There are, people like Kristen Gillibrand are saying, no, it's not over yet. We're still talking to Manchin. He's still talking. He's pretty much said, nope. This ain't the place to do it. I'm looking at stuff they do in other countries, blah, blah, blah. Don't do it in this bill. It looks like it's dead. And so now what you have is Democrats promised something big, $3.5 trillion with all sorts of really important social spending in it. They still, for now, got universal pre-K till Joe Manchin decides that's no good. Child tax credit, which is now only 1 year, meaning it does no good after 365 days. Daycare funding, Pell Grants, and a few other things. Elder care, of course, because the elder, we always have to take care of seniors. They vote. Paid family leave is out. Free community college is out. Expanded Medicare coverage is out. Tax hikes on corporations and the wealthy are out. What's the point at this point?
Well, Joy, first of all, I agree with you that there has been a disappointment in things that may be out, but we still have to see what's in. I mean, universal preschool would be a huge deal. Only 4% of people in this country are homeschooled. Let's just get that fact out there. By the way, they're disproportionately white, 68%, and it costs about $2,000 to homeschool your kids, so not everyone can afford that. Now, if we could get every American starting out at universal preschool like they do in France, every 3-year-old gets to go to preschool, and they see in France that you have an equal starting point by the time you get to first grade, that would be transformational. That is a significant policy that's still in there. The child care, and having that in there still will make a difference for many families. The fact that we're going to have over $500 billion of climate investment will make a difference in this country. And Senator Murray is still talking. I know she just talked to Senator Manchin, so we're still fighting for paid family leave. Am I disappointed on things that are out? Yes. But if you look at what is in, which is an investment in the education and health of this country, I still think it's making progress.
What are the climate provisions specifically? Because the key one is out.
Well, there are massive investments in solar, in wind, in the production tax credit, in the investment tax credit, so we can start to build renewable energy in this country. And we're looking at a number of other alternatives, perhaps state block grants, perhaps industry standards on putting penalties on pollution. So my understanding is that the $150 billion that was taken out by the Clean Electricity Program, which I grant was the best course, though that has been repurposed to other avenues that will have a dramatic impact on climate. So it's still a bill that would move the ball forward.
And how long till Joe Manchin takes those out? Because he is devoted, personally, I mean it, his family fortune comes from coal. He's the biggest defender of oil and coal companies in the Congress, period. He is going to fight for his own family's, economic longevity. He ain't going to let none of that go through. Kyrsten Sinema appears only interested in protecting the wealthy and big pharma. You have two, I don't know if they're Democrats anymore at this point. They're not going to allow any transformational change in that bill, right? That's not going to happen.
Well, Joy, I don't understand the problem they have with raising taxes on billionaires or the wealthy. Many of them are in my district, Silicon Valley entrepreneurs. And sure, I admire their creativity, I admire their innovation, I admire their hard work. They've created thousands of jobs. You know what else? They've made disproportionate amount of wealth because of a digital transformation in the economy, and a lot of people have been left out of that wealth generation. They can afford the tax. Many of them are raising their hand saying, we're open to paying this tax because we understand communities have been left out. We need to invest in education. We need to invest in healthcare. So if the congressman from the district with probably the most billionaires in the country is saying tax us, why is the rest of the country not saying let's tax them so that other people have a shot? It's mind-boggling to me. The other point I would say is that the president has been very patient. I mean, he wasn't my choice in the primary. He wasn't even my second choice in the primary. But he has sat with lawmakers for hours, and he is pleading with them to come to some consensus to show democracy can work. And that's why, despite my frustrations, I think we will get a deal.
But perhaps maybe pleading too much. At a certain point, do you think that the negotiating in public has just been purely damaging to the party's prospects next year? Our Ali Vitale, our reporter on the Hill, she spoke with Senator Rick Scott of Florida, the guy whose company had that giant Medicaid and TRICARE and Medicare fraud, that guy. He now heads up the NRSC because, of course, he does. He said that he sees Sinema's contrarian role within her party as helpful to Republicans to help them take out the other senator from Arizona, to help them take out Mark Kelly. She's being used to take out the other senator from her state. That's where we're at. Yeah, go on.
I think that's wishful thinking. Mark Kelly is very popular, and he shows what, and frankly, in my view, Senator Sinema should have been doing, which is get behind the president's agenda, most of it. I mean, you can have your suggestions. You can disagree here and there. You can have your point of view. But at the end of the day, you need a quarterback. You need a leader. And you have to have times where we follow that leader. We elected President Biden through a democratic process, through a nomination process. He's the only one who beat Donald Trump. He's likely the only one who may have to beat Donald Trump again. And at some point, we have to ask as a party, are we going to come together? Do we understand the threat that Donald Trump poses and the threat of him coming back? Do we understand what's on the line? This isn't about our egos. It's not about us as individuals. Let's get behind this president. Let's get something done. And let's tell the American people what we're doing for them.
I'm not sure that Sinema and Manchin agree with you on that. I'm really not sure really what they are for. I don't think it's for that. Congressman Khanna, we shall see. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you.